Hey everybody, welcome to Tigner Adventures. We are at another 1,000 trails. This is Crescent Bar. It's just outside of a little town called, oh, it's right on the tip of my tongue. Starts with an O.
Oh.
Okay, so anyway, we can't remember it. So anyway, we're here visiting our friends.
Live.
Yeah, so we're here visiting our friends, and we've got a few different little activities planned with them while we're here. So we're going to be doing that, and then we'll give you a little review of the resort too. Before I show you around the campground and address the activities that we're doing here at the Crescent Bar, I thought I would address the thing I mentioned before where we had problems with our jacks. So our motor on our jacks burned up. Also, there's a couple other little things that we were having issues with. Some wiring I had to redo for our engine heater. So I thought I'd address those. I just wanted to show you this motor that burned up on our jacks because it's you know, kind of interesting. So this is the motor. It's just this big. And you know, some of you guys, this motor does not just only your jacks, but also does your slides. So this is anything hydraulic, the motor is going to run. So there's different size motors and different compartments. So if you look here, this is my compartment. I've put the new motor in there. It's already getting dirty, but you can see it's this whole, you know, compartment that holds all the oil and everything. So that's what you got to be paying attention to, and the wiring there and things like that. But this is the motor, and I pulled this motor out. Kind of interesting that it looks like it's overheated here just a little bit. So anyway, but it only has one connection on this particular one. The new one that I got had two, a plus and a minus, but they used the plus and minus on this one. Just the strap around here was the negative ground portion of it, and this was the positive. So anyway, I hooked up the new one, and one of the issues I ran into right away was it was going the wrong way. So they had rewired this one, and if you take these bolts out right here, they rewired this one to go the opposite direction. So I had to tear the new one apart and do the same thing. So I had to move the way the brushes were and everything to make it so that it was doing the opposite direction, and then it works great. So, but this is the motor right here, and if you pull this out, this is just a bearing housing right here. This is the armature, and boy, whew, it smells. I'm just going to push it out this other end because it's got the brushes right here, and you can see, man, these brushes, whew, they look bad. I've pulled the brushes out, so it's just free turning now. But if you look at the armature back there, I'm going to just pop this off there because the brushes aren't in the way right now, but you can look at this armature. Normally that should be all copper and really shiny, and these brushes are just all ripped up. So I'm not really sure why this deteriorated this way, what caused that, but this white stuff here was all melted everywhere. So this armature here, this is just a whole bunch of wires turned in here, and then each one of these wires comes out to each one of these little things on this armature, and that's what the brushes are going across. And depending on which way you have it wired, whether you have it wired here or you have it wired here as far as positive and negative, determines the rotation of this motor. So on the other one, I didn't tape it, but I just flipped those around so that the motor would turn the opposite direction, because the way it was turning, it wasn't pumping any oil. And so once I turn that around, now it pumps up just fine, works. But this is the motor, and man, what a mess. So the way I found this was I actually called HWH, and they said they don't make that motor anymore. And the motor that's on here, this actually said Monarch. If you look there really close, it was kind of all messed up, but Monarch, and it was 08029 was their model number. So I found a company that had this particular motor. It was 8029, 12 volt, and that said Monarch on it. So so I was able to just order that one for a little over 200 bucks, so it wasn't too bad. HWH wanted me to, well, they don't sell that motor anymore, so they wanted to sell me a whole new assembly, which was about $1,300. That was the tank and the motor all together. So a whole new tank, a new motor that mounted to that tank a little differently than I guess the motor mounts to the tank I have right now. So anyway, by just finding this third-party place that had that replacement motor and putting it in there, I don't know how long that'll last, but $200 wasn't a bad price. Just check around and see what you can find, but that's our motor there. And then the next issue that we had was our heater for our engine. So you can plug the engine in. A lot of times on diesel engines, they have a plug-in, or even on cars, depending on where you're at and the temperatures you're getting, where you can plug the engine in so that it will keep it warm. And this is the where it plugs in. And so I have replaced the plug that was in there. The wire was all burned up. So I've put a new one on right here. I put a new GFI in here. And then I put this cover on here, and it was white, so I painted it black. So that just snaps in there, so that covers that up pretty good. And now that engine heater is working, so that has really been a help when we're staying in these areas that are pretty cold, because right now the mornings are 40 degrees, and so that just helps it start a little faster. When we were up at Yellowstone and we started the engine, for quite a while there we had white smoke coming out. And that's just because the engine wasn't warm yet, and it took a little bit for that to warm up to really start burning that diesel, because again, the diesel is compression, so it ignites from the compression. If that's not very hot, then it doesn't burn all that fuel as good efficiently as it would normally. So that just helps the engine start up a lot faster, and that's why they have glow plugs and things like that. This has got a glow plate, but this gets the engine warm and makes it a lot simpler. And a new change that we've added to our motorhome is we've actually purchased Starlink. So now we have the roaming package from Starlink. So that's $165 a month for internet. We have a InstaConnect cellular system that holds 2 cell cards in there. And right now we have T-Mobile and AT&T on that, and we have Starlink tied into it. So we have all 3 of those sources for our internet. The T-Mobile was costing us $100 a month. The AT&T is 60 bucks, so there's 160 right there. We kept AT&T because we have a big plan, so we got a special deal on that. So we still have AT&T, but we've discontinued the T-Mobile and we've added Starlink. So as we travel around, if we can't use Starlink, we always have AT&T that we can use and everything. So that works out really nice. But we also have our phones, which are AT&T. But Starlink, if you look up here on our roof, we've installed it actually as a roof mount, so it's flat. Well, it's not particularly exactly flat, but it's installed on top of the roof, stationary, and it just moves with us. So as we drive, we always have internet, which works really well when we're at Ninette's looking up things or whatever. We have internet with us all the time, so that works really good. But if we happen to park somewhere where we don't have a good view of the sky, then we can go ahead and use our cellular for our internet. And if you look here, you'll notice also there's a cover that's on this dish, and that's to keep it from, if we go areas that we have hail and things like that, then hopefully it's not gonna break the dish. We have a buddy that referred us for Starlink that his dish had hail damage on it, and insurance paid for it, but then that's just an extra process you have to go through. And some of the places that we're traveling sometimes has some good sized hail, or hopefully not, but if it does, we're protected. So if you like that and you're interested in doing that same thing for your Starlink, then I'm going to put a description and a link in the description that you can look that up and see if that's something you want. But if you're not doing it on a rig where it's permanent, then it probably is as much of an issue. I mean, if you're doing it on your house that's permanent outside, and that's how his was, then you probably want to look at this same type of setup. But if you're just set it out and then bring it back in, then you don't need this. One of the interesting things I found out about Starlink was I wanted to get an extra dish. Well, the dish and the modem are all linked together, so you cannot get an extra dish unless you pay an extra fee. So I'd have to pay another $165 a month, and so that is really not very forward thinking as far as I'm concerned. I mean, why offer a mount for the top of your RV when you could be parking under trees and things like that, and not have a method where you could just unplug the cable and plug another dish in that you set out in the field somewhere? Someone wasn't thinking there very much, and I guess they don't really care because support wasn't very supportive of my idea. So anyway, so let's go ahead and take a trip around the campground here and just kind of see what this is all about. We've got this nice lounge area here outside the hot tub, and then this is the hot tub. It's nice and hot. Pretty good one. So this is the view from the campsites, and this is the Columbia River. Nice beach, place to go play in the water. Nice little patio here as we enter into the clubhouse. This is the clubhouse. Lots of fun things here. Everybody having fun. Here is the swimming pool, and it's a pretty shallow one, but they also have over there on the end 2.5 foot for real little kids, so that's pretty nice. It is separate from the hot tub. They have a nice sand volleyball court along with tetherball. They do have horseshoes, and Ninette's trying her best at, what's that called?
Cornhole.
Cornhole, yeah. They have a really nice pickleball / tennis court. Small laundromat, but all you need is one machine, so they've got that covered. So pretty nice campground. It's a little smaller than some of the other ones, and you're kind of pretty close to each other on some of the campsites, but it's a really popular campground.
And good electricity and good water pressure.
Yeah, good power and good electricity. So, oh no, that's the same thing.
Water pressure.
Yeah. Okay, that finishes the little tour of the campground, and we had a lot of fun with our friends, Don and Susie. Yes. So the town, I thought, started with an O. No. Actually starts with a Q.
Q. Kind of an O.
It's kind of an O. It kind of got me distracted, I guess. So. Anyway, Quincy. So we stayed with our friends Don and Susie for a few days in Quincy.
Oh, we had a wonderful time.
Yep. Then we went to Crescent Bar. And that's the Thousand Trails campground.
It looks like a lake, but it's really by the big river.
Yeah, it's really by the Columbia River. So that's where we're at right now. So we are going to finish this up. We showed you around the resort. We're going to give you kind of a little collage and a little thing after we close here of all the things that we did with Don and Susie. And
he went off with the men, and I went off with the women. So.
Yeah, so we had a lot of fun. But anyway, that'll finish this video, and then we'll move on to our next destination. So let's see, we're going north. Leavenworth. It's not jail. It's not the prison. We're going to go to Leavenworth, Washington. Yeah, we're going to go up there and check things out. So yeah,
it'll be nice and
a little higher because it's been pretty hot here. So anyway,
we have air conditioning.
Yeah, we got 50 amp service, so we got air conditioner. So. Anyway, thanks for coming along with us, and we'll just plan on seeing you guys down the road somewhere, or hopefully on our next video. So, bye. So right through those trees, you can just barely see Mount Adams. It is way over there. And if we circle over here, got a great picture of Mount Rainier. And if we pan over here to the right, we see Mount Baker.